CoD Mobile has the potential of being one of the best mobile games on the market. However, just being able to play it for a few hours, I have discovered that it was just plagued with issues. I know the game is still in a development stage, however these issues are quite critical to the experience of the users, and I really do think that they need to get fixed as soon as possible. This video is detailing all those issues that I have found just with the UI and controls of the game. I'll show off these issues in priority order. I'll start off with the major bugs that need to get fixed as soon as possible, and I'll continue on to smaller little bugs and nitpicks that I have with the game. To show off one of the critical control bugs in this game, I decided to put my ADS firing sensitivity at 100. This should make it so as soon as I actually start firing while ADS, my sensitivity should spike up to an extremely high speed.
Frontline.
In this clip right here, I'm just using the view ADS sensitivity just to move around my crosshair. Now, as soon as I actually push the fire button, you could see for a moment of time where I can't actually move my aim from that one place I started shooting at. This is the critical aim locking bug. Now, this aim locking bug doesn't just affect aiming in and firing. It affects any time the game tries to dynamically change your sensitivity. So if you're going from the normal view sensitivity to the firing sensitivity, this bug will occur. This also includes with hip fire spray. As soon as you push the fire button, sometimes it may not be as apparent, but other times the lag and the delay of actually reading the user input is very, very considerable. The next thing I would want to cover is the inconsistencies of the sensitivity options. The sensitivity goes from 0 to 100, however each sensitivity actually has a different value in total. So for example, if I have them all set to 30, if I drag my finger the same distance, they will all move a different amount of distance. Now this is quite an issue, since unless you do some micro adjustments yourself, it's going to be quite hard for players to actually get their own sensitivity that's consistent all the way through, and it makes it a bit more difficult for players to adjust to the game. As an experienced mobile player, this is quite odd to me, because most other mobile shooters just give you two options for sensitivity, one for just general viewing and the other one for aiming down sights. This just makes it a bit more consistent across all weapons, and it just makes it easier to aim in general. Now, I'm not saying that all these options are bad, I'm just hoping for more consistency in the global launch. So for example, if I have my sensitivity across the board on 30, everything I do, I would want it to have the same sensitivity.
Friendly hunter-killer drone deployed.
The next big thing I would want to cover is not necessarily a bug, but more so a user interface issue. If you guys don't know, this game doesn't actually have a static joystick, meaning the left half of the screen is completely unusable for actually aiming. This is an issue especially for smaller devices like people who have phones, since they can't actually drag from the left side of the screen, because wherever they click on the left side of the screen, it will actually cause a joystick to appear on that location. This is quite odd as well, since they give you the option to actually move the joystick in the settings, in the control settings, but it doesn't actually give you the option to make it a static joystick so it doesn't move from the location you positioned it. You may have an experience before where you ran out of ammo and you need to pick up an enemy's weapon to continue on. However, picking up an enemy's gun in this game is quite difficult to do. I don't know if it's a server side issue or it's just an issue with the range you could pick up the weapons, but you have to actually stand still directly on the weapon to actually be able to pick it up. And this just makes it quite frustrating, because even if you start moving after you tap the button, it's not likely for you to pick up the gun. You have to be standing completely still most of the time.
Friendly hunter-killer drone deployed.
The next few things I want to cover are starting to get into that nitpick territory, but I still want to cover them anyways, just so they get some exposure and hopefully possible fixes. Now, aim assist could be a really conflicting topic. However, I really do believe that there should be an aim assist off option in this game, just because the consistency of the aim assist in this game is quite questionable. For example, if you're not actually moving around, the aim assist doesn't activate at all, but as soon as you start moving around, the aim assist will start to lock onto players, and it locks on in a very odd fashion. So At times it doesn't seem like it locks on at all, but in other times it seems like it's a complete magnet aiming right at the players. Now I wish I was able to showcase this a bit better and show where my fingers were on the screen, just so you can see that the aim is doing most of the work here, but I don't have something for that set up right now. The issue being showcased in this clip is the joystick sprint option in the settings. If you guys don't know, there are actually two manual sprint buttons in this game. One of them is the actual small sprint button that's usually in the top right corner of the screen. The other option is if you actually drag your joystick up enough, it'll actually give you the option to just do an auto sprint. Now I feel like this is okay for the battle royale, but the fact there's two sprint buttons and there's no way to actually turn off the auto sprint from the joystick is kind of odd. Now they have the always sprint button from the joystick. What that does is makes it so it doesn't matter if you slightly move your joystick, as long as you move it up enough, you will sprint. Personally, I think if that option is off, that you shouldn't actually auto sprint with the joystick, that you would have to actually use one of the two manual buttons to actually do so. The last thing I want to cover in this video is the user interface customization. If you guys don't know, each button has a 0 to 200% scale that you can actually resize the button. However, each button also does start with different sizes. So the fire button at 200% is completely different than the shoot button at 200%. And after you hit that 200% mark, you cannot make that icon any larger. Now this might not be an issue for some people, but for others who do like customizing their controls in certain ways, it might be an issue for them. And that is all I'm going to be covering in this video for today. If you guys have any more issues that you notice, please do comment them down below. Please do like and share this video since it does help give these issues more attention. I really do like this game, which is one of the reasons why I actually want these issues to be fixed. And hopefully one of the people at the Team Media Studio is able to actually find this video and solve some of these issues. Anyways, that is all for now, guys. Thank you so much for watching. This is Hax, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.